Higher ed is one of those, I'll call it pristine spaces, maybe not unlike the legal field, which have had to come to terms with introducing marketing into their practice and their business approach. Do you see controversy in the field around treating academic programs like products, like bars of soap and so forth? Is that an issue?
You know, I think there's two pieces to that. I think the first is that there's always been a hesitancy to think about your customer, your student, as a customer. There's always been a feeling in higher ed that the students would come to you because of who you were, and so there was just this endless demand that you could always accomplish your goals and hit your numbers. So there's a hesitancy in kind of transforming that to think about how do we adjust to our students being customers. And then part of that is how do you think about your programs? And so there's if you think about the labor market today, there's a real shift in what students need to be able to be successful in today's environment. And a big part of that is kind of the hybridization of jobs, meaning that if you're in marketing, it's no longer enough to just be good at creative or be good at digital. You need to kind of be good at both digital and creative, and you need to understand those things. You don't really have that separation of those two anymore. And so from that perspective, schools need to think of their programs that same way. You know, 10 years ago, there were a few dozen online programs and online MBAs as an example. There are hundreds of online MBAs today. And so, you know, you don't want to use the word commoditization, but when great schools are going online and students have dozens of choices on where they want to go to school, schools need to think about how do they position their programs and think about productizing those programs differently. And by productization, it can be in how do you charge? So do you shift away from the traditional per credit hour pricing model? Is it the modality that the student takes it? Is it introducing competency-based education? There are a lot of different ways that schools need to differentiate, but ultimately, to be successful in more of a national online market, you need to have a different product than what everybody else has out there. And that's a daunting task.